Hey everyone, my name is Mallory and I'm here with All About Cats. In this week's video, we're going to be talking about your cat's dental hygiene, all of the products and practices that you can use in order to ensure that your cat's teeth and gums remain as healthy as possible. So in this video, we're going to be talking about all of the different facets of a nice, well-rounded approach to good dental hygiene for your cat. You can use the video navigation in order to jump to a section that interests you, and you'll find links to all of the products mentioned in the video description, as well as a couple of links to resources on the All About Cats site that I think you're going to find helpful. I want to quickly step back for a second and talk about the overall situation with feline dental health. So periodontal disease or gum disease is a very significant issue among cats. It's estimated that up to 70% of cats over the age of 3 are dealing with some kind of periodontal disease. That's really, really common. So when you allow plaque to accumulate, it turns into tartar, and then it becomes very difficult to remove. And then when that tartar continues to accumulate, issues start spreading from your cat's teeth and into their gums, and you end up with periodontal disease. Now, periodontal disease also has a ripple effect on the body. Toxins from your cat's teeth and gums can start leaching into the bloodstream, and this can cause a lot of different issues in your cat's body. Additionally, cats with poor dental health might end up having to have their teeth extracted, or if they aren't extracted, they could have really painful mouths as they get up into their senior years, and this can lead to difficulty eating and all sorts of other issues. It is really important to take care of your cat's teeth. And fortunately, it's not all that difficult if you know which products to use and you establish good habits, especially from a young age. So having gotten that little bit of background out of the way, let's talk about dental hygiene products. So the first category of products that I want to talk about here is toothpaste. So of course, you're never going to want to give your cat a human toothpaste. You're always going to want to go for a cat-specific toothpaste, which is going to be safe for them to swallow and usually tastes a lot better for a cat than does a human toothpaste. The other interesting thing about cat toothpaste is that it doesn't just rely on abrasion to get rid of plaque. It will typically contain enzymes or some other type of agent that is able to break down plaque. So it's a pretty active product. You can put it into your cat's mouth and it'll do a lot of the work for you. So this means that while it is still important to do some scrubbing with that toothbrush, it's less important than you might think. So you don't have to feel too bad if you're not able to really scrub. Just getting that toothpaste into your cat's mouth is going to do a lot of good. So my number one recommendation for the best cat toothpaste is Petsmile's Professional Pet Toothpaste. So the reason why I recommend this toothpaste as the best cat toothpaste is because it's one of very few products that have been clinically tested and met the Veterinary Oral Health Council's standards for effectiveness. So in order to get on the Veterinary Oral Health Council's list of effective dental hygiene products, the product has to remove at least 10% of plaque over the course of a 1-week trial. So I did find that Petsmile is not on the list for products for cats, but it is on the Veterinary Oral Health Council's list of products that work for dogs. And according to the customer reviews that I've read, it does seem to be effective in cats as well as dogs, but it is a little bit concerning that it hasn't made that specific list. So instead of being an enzymatic cleaner like a lot of other cat toothpaste, Petsmile is built around this proprietary ingredient called Calprox. So the company says that this is an encapsulated form of calcium peroxide and minerals that are able to dissolve the biofilm on your cat's teeth. So this toothpaste is a bit on the expensive side. I purchased a 4.5 ounce bottle for $24.99. Again, a little bit expensive, but overall, the fact that it has been approved by the Veterinary Oral Health Council and has proven benefits seems to set it apart from the competition. The only downside that I can see with this product is that its flavors don't seem to be the best. I've only tried the chicken flavor, and it certainly didn't smell anything like chicken to me, and my cat, Wessie, at least, didn't show any interest in it. I'm not sure how the other flavors compare. Maybe their London broil flavor is more appealing, but the chicken just didn't really do it for my cat. Now, if you are looking for something with a little bit of a better flavor, I would recommend Vetoquinol's Enzadent toothpaste. I've been using this for years actually, and both of my cats love the way that it tastes, and it makes toothbrushing a lot easier. So this is an enzyme-based cleaner that contains glucose oxidase, lactoperoxidase, lactoferrin, and lysozyme, all of which have shown an ability to help to break down the components of plaque on your cat's teeth. So I purchased this on Amazon for $15.99 for a 90-gram tube, which is a little bit expensive, but I've also seen it on Chewy for significantly less, so you can get it for under $9 for the same tube size. So that's going to bring your cost down significantly. So you might have to shop around a bit to find the best price, but overall it is a pretty affordable option. Again, the next thing you're going to want to think about is a toothbrush. I'm going to go over a couple of my recommendations for toothbrushes later on, but I want to mention that Enzadent is also available in a kit that comes with a couple of different toothbrushes. So it comes with a two-sided brush with a handle that's going to have a nice small side that has a pretty good design for brushing your cat's teeth, as well as a larger side that might be more appropriate for dogs. And it also comes with a fingered toothbrush. Now personally, I find that while the handled brush is pretty good, I'm not a big fan of their finger brush. It's just a little bit too big, a little bit too stiff for my taste, but it can certainly be a good option if you're more comfortable with finger brushes, especially if you have larger fingers. As I mentioned earlier, the toothbrush that you use is not nearly as important as the toothpaste that you're putting on it. The toothbrush is there to get the toothpaste into your cat's mouth. It does a little bit of abrasion, but it's not quite as important as the toothpaste itself. And because it's not that important to get a specific type of toothbrush, you have a lot of options available. And it really comes down to personal preference. So a lot of people will go without a toothbrush at all, and they'll just use their finger to stick that toothpaste into their cat's mouth and spread it over their teeth. You can also use a piece of gauze wrapped around your finger. You can use a finger toothbrush like the one that is found in that Enzadent kit. You can use a baby toothbrush, provided that it's not been used. And you can even use an adult toothbrush if your cat's comfortable with it. Personally, I do like the design of some cat-specific toothbrushes on the market. My top recommendation would be this 360-degree toothbrush. There are a lot of options on Amazon that are essentially the exact same design, but it's a little bit like a bottle brush or even a toilet brush, a little tiny brush that you can stick into your cat's mouth. What I like about it is that it cleans multiple surfaces at once. You're able to access more of your cat's mouth with each movement because this is a 360-degree brush. It's very soft. It has a nice narrow handle that is going to go pretty smoothly into your cat's mouth. And overall, I think it's a nice, comfortable option for both cats and people. One gripe with this particular product is I think it might be a tiny bit overpriced. So it costs $11.99 on Amazon. Seems a little bit expensive to me. You could get a good baby toothbrush for a lot cheaper, but it does have a nice design. It's attractive. It comes with a little case. So if you're interested in investing in a nice toothbrush that your cat's probably going to be fairly comfortable with, I think this could be a good one that's going to give you a lot of rewards over time. Now, my next recommendation is going to be if your cat is really, really, really uncomfortable with having a finger or a toothbrush stuck into their mouth. And that's going to be the micro head toothbrush from Mind Up. This particular micro head toothbrush has a barely there design that makes it pretty easy to get both the handle and the brush head into your cat's mouth without bothering them too much. Again, it has an absolutely tiny head, and that might mean that you have to move it around a little bit more in your cat's mouth in order to distribute the toothpaste and scrub all of those teeth. But again, it's going to be a little bit easier to get access if your cat's really uncomfortable. It has a nice angled head that's going to make it easy to get access to your cat's teeth and get a nice thorough scrub. So overall, I think that it has a very nice cat-friendly design. The next thing that you're going to want to think about when you're taking care of your cat's dental health is food and treats. So first off, there are a number of foods that are made to help to remove plaque and prevent tartar buildup, and a number of them are indeed on the Veterinary Oral Health Council's list of approved products for cats. Again, I'll put a link in the description so you can check that out for yourself. Now, while these can be a good option if you're already feeding your cat dry food and you want something that's going to help to promote dental health, I'm not going to recommend any of them here because in general, dry food is not the best option for cats. So this brings us to an important point. When we're talking about dental health in cats, a big question that comes up is whether dry or wet food is going to be better. And really this is still a question that's up for debate. For a long time, veterinarians would recommend dry food over wet because it was thought that dry food could help to gently abrade the teeth and both remove and prevent residue from building up on those teeth. At the same time, a dry food is going to be higher in carbohydrates, so it's going to leave a starchy film, which could potentially make the problem worse. And secondly, cats for the most part don't really chew their food. So if you've ever seen the puke of a dry-fed cat, you're going to know that very often it looks like a pile of bloated kibble. The pieces are not broken down, they're just there on the carpet or floor, looking very, very similar to the way that they did in your cat's dish. And that's because cats move their jaws straight up and down rather than masticating in the way that we do. So when they're eating their food, they're generally just going to chomp a little bit, so some of the pieces get broken, but for the most part, as they're chomping, that food is not getting touched, and instead it's just going straight down the gullet, right? And so for the most part, kibble is eaten without ever really being broken down and chewed, so that kibble never really gets a chance to do anything to your cat's teeth. It just doesn't even touch them. So unless you are using a kibble that is specially made in order to promote contact with the teeth, it's probably not going to be that beneficial, and it's probably not going to be better than a wet diet. So overall, to me, the benefits of wet food seem to far outweigh any potential benefits that dry food might have for your cat's dental health. If you're really interested in supporting your cat's dental health through their diet, then I would think about giving them something that requires them to move their teeth through the food a little bit more. So raw diets are controversial, and you might want to talk to a veterinary nutritionist or someone who has some expertise in this area. But it does seem that a raw diet, specifically a raw diet that includes some bones, can help to prevent a lot of residue from remaining on your cat's teeth. And it can also exercise their jaws and help to keep their mouths healthy overall. So that would be something to consider if you want to set a really good foundation. You can also think about giving these types of foods as some challenging treats that require your cat to really get their teeth into their food. So for example, if you're cleaning out a whole turkey for your dinner, you can give your cat some raw organs, and that'll force them to dig their teeth in there. Again, controversial area, but overall, these can be good treats that help to engage the jaws and clean off your cat's teeth. And if you're not comfortable with raw food, you can also think about giving your cat some kind of dental treat. I checked the Veterinary Oral Health Council's list of approved products, and there are a number of treats out there. Greenies are among them, as well as these treats from Purina, Purina's Dentalife treats. So I'm going to be recommending these as the top recommendation for the best dental treats you can use. They're not perfect. They do contain some less than ideal ingredients. They're quite starchy, they're very high in carbohydrates, and they're not a particularly species appropriate product. And neither are any of the other dental treats out there. So while they're not ideal, and they're certainly not a substitute for any of the other things that we've mentioned here, these treats could be a more dental health friendly alternative to something like, say, Temptations. So they're a really good treat that cats are going to feel motivated to work for, and you might also get some dental health benefits out of them. A 13.5-ounce canister of these treats costs $12.90. And the fourth and final component of keeping your cat's mouth healthy is going to be taking them in for regular professional cleanings. So when you take your cat into the vet to have their teeth cleaned, you get a few things that you can't get at home. One is removing the tartar. The second benefit that you're going to get from taking your cat into a vet for a professional cleaning is that they can inspect your cat's mouth. And so you can get insights into your cat's oral hygiene and dental health that you wouldn't get otherwise. So you're going to be able to identify any issues early before they're able, again, to progress to a point where it's a really, really big problem. So you can expect to spend at least $180 for this type of cleaning, but remember that it is a form of preventive care that can have a very significant effect on your cat's overall health over time and could potentially save you on vet bills later on in your cat's life. So that about covers it for the things that you're going to need in order to really give your cat the best chance at good dental health. I think really the biggest challenge here is disciplining yourself to do these things on a regular basis. It's not something that most of us go into having a cat thinking that we're going to do. But I think for most of us, there's a little bit of human training that needs to be done in order to get into this habit. But again, consistency is going to help you to establish comfort, and both you and your cat are going to get used to this being a regular part of your routine. When you combine all of these different aspects of regular hygiene, good food, and veterinary care, you start developing a nice multifaceted approach that just becomes second nature. So I hope that you found this video helpful. Again, there will be links to all of the products mentioned here, as well as additional resources located in the description. So I would encourage you to check those out if you'd like to learn more. And if you like this video and you're interested in more information on all things cats, please subscribe to the All About Cats channel and click the notification bell so you get the news every time we release a new upload. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.